Howdy folks, welcome back to Melanchthon Creek Farm. We're out here on June the 2nd. Can you believe we're in June already? And I wanted to bring you a quick garden update. You can see here on our last bed up here on the top, our corn is just going to town. And if you look real close right in there, you can start seeing some tasseling. Corn is really happy over here. This side of our rattlesnake beans, you can see all the ones that are up top, and they're just wanting to keep on climbing up, but we're trying to train them to come back down on this other side, or either run down the trellis that way. And on this right side, it's filling in really good. Really pleased with that. And you know the struggles that we're having in this bed here, but we are on day 5 of our newly planted beans on this side, and you can see they're already starting to come up. So by just replacing that soil with some of our compost, you can see the beans are already coming through. So that'll give us a couple different windows of harvest on our green beans. So that's a good thing. Our cucumbers here are starting to do a little climbing here on the end. So you can see where the tendrils are grabbing a hold, and they'll be climbing up this panel here. Also, our Malabar spinach that we have is starting to take hold, and it'll be climbing up this trellis in no time. Our broccoli is doing really well. Starting to see a few of the heads starting to form down here in the middles. See one there. See one down in the middle there where it's starting to develop. So hopefully we'll be getting some heads of broccoli that'll be forming soon. Our greasy beans here on this side of the trellis, they're doing really good. And then the half runners that are on this side is coming along real well. This trellis here will probably fill in quicker than the other one below it, but the corn on this end is looking just as good. And you can see here the tassels that are already starting to come up all through there. So won't be long, folks, we'll be harvesting some sweet corn. And all this down through here, I've been really pleased with how the corn and the beans are growing together here in these beds. And over here in our melon patch, our watermelons are starting to come along. All this rain that we had last week, we had probably close to 4 or more inches of rain. It's really soaked down into those holes that we dug. And our cantaloupes coming along really good. These are just the old planting spots that we had dug out from last year. I'm just letting the grass grow, kind of give it a little bit more cover out here for when June and July gets here. Maybe give it just a little bit more shade for our melons. I took our pest cloth off of our strawberry bed just to kind of do a little inspecting and do some weeding out here today. Sage is looking really good. Harvest any of that anytime soon. And the strawberries have bounced back really good. You can see where this one's taking off running, and that one's looking good. Don't see any production on these everbearings. I guess they're putting a lot of energy into growing the leaves since we had the deer attack. But here are June bearers. You can see some of the strawberries that are coming out there. That there's got a long runner. We're just gonna let them run all over this bed this year. Over here, these calendula, these are marigold calendulas. You can see all the blossoms that'll be coming out on those. We're really enjoying those. They're doing real well in this bed. We planted them for a pollinator attractant, and also for the smell that they give off to be a deterrent. But at the time the deer got in here, none of these had bloomed yet. So we're hoping that with these blooms that it will continue to be a pest deterrent. Got another one here in this bed with our squash, and you can see how well it's doing. Of course, our winter giant, we're gonna have to do something with that one. I've just kind of let it just do its own thing, but we're gonna wind up having to do something eventually with that one. Our one squash plant that made it through the frost, it's got several squash on here that we're really eager to wanting to get to maturity so we can enjoy those. Over here in our zucchini bed, our nasturtiums are really filling out really good. You can see several zucchinis that are starting to come out there. Got some over there on that one. Now I must have planted two different cultivars of zucchini. You can tell the difference in the leaves. Now this is what we usually plant, and I think this is the Black Beauties, I believe. And then you come down here, and this is more of a squash colored leaf. It's not variegated with the colors like those are. So unless I got my seed packets mixed up, we might have a whole lot more squash than we got zucchini, but that'll be all right. All right, folks, well now we're down here in our tomato bed, and I have got to start getting these trained up. I've got several different methods that I'm looking at on trellising our tomatoes up on these strings. As you can see, I've just got them tied up here, but I've got me some hooks that I'm going to make. That you can buy these as well, but I'm going to make my own to use up here on the tops. But as far as wrapping them around this trellis, I've started to kind of look at doing this here. And these San Marzanos are pretty stiff, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do a wrap around these, or if I'm going to get me some of the clips that they make. So still looking into that. I haven't done any pruning on these. You can see the suckers that are coming out here. I've got a set of blossoms here. So we're gonna get in here pretty soon and probably do some clips in here with these to get them up near the string. And we're gonna come in and do some pruning. It's time to start thinning these out a little bit. You can see how our shishito peppers are doing over here on this side. They're starting to come along. We're gonna have to find a way to probably stake those up too. Won't be long, they'll be getting out of hand. On this side, we have our jalapeno peppers that are growing in here, and our oregano that we have over here on this end. And last but certainly not least, up here at our greenhouse, we have our onions and our carrots and our cilantro. So we have quite a bit of cilantro in here that's ready to go. And some of the carrots are getting kind of close. We're on, I believe, day 65, I believe, for our root crop plantings. And so we got about another 10 or 12 days before we harvest our carrots. This huge marigold over here on this end. These things are just growing like crazy. You can see the buds that are on there. Kind of concerned for our pepper plants that we planted in here. I might have to do some pruning back on these wild marigolds over here. There's another one of the calendulas. And then our other pepper plants on this side. And then over here in this onion and carrot bed, we have our dill that's planted. And we finally went and pulled that one carrot plant that had been growing since last fall. I just kind of been letting it go and do its own thing. Let me show you what that thing turned out to look like. And check out that monster. A stalk on it got to be about 2 foot high, and I said, well, we're gonna have to get that thing on out of there. I don't want it choking out all the others that we have planted in there. But you can see what one looks like when you kind of let it go a little too long. But it was a research project. There you go, that's what we're gonna call it. Just to kind of see what it'd turn out to look like. Up here in our pollinator planters, we have our Elysium up top, and then some zinnias, marigolds, and then some of the herbs that we planted, some rosemary. And on this side, we have not only white, but the pastel purple color Elysiums, the zinnias, and then those calendulas, and then more of our herbs planted over here in these beds. We did finally harvest some of our lettuce. As you can see, we kind of thinned it out, and this stalk here had started to bolt on us, so I went in there and clipped that out and got rid of that. But we've had several harvests of our lettuce. Really enjoy this. Looking forward to getting some more of that for some salads and sides. All right, folks, well, that's going to do it for today's video. I appreciate you joining us here at Melancton Creek Farm as we're out here on the first Monday of June, taking a look at how our garden is progressing. And we look forward to bringing you some more videos, so stay tuned for the next one. In the meantime, y'all take care.